The earliest churches were based on the plan of the pagan Roman basilica, or Hall of Justice. The plan generally included a nave, or hall, with a flat timber roof, in which the crowd gathered. One or two side aisles flanking the nave and separated from it by a row of regularly spaced columns. A narthex, or entrance vestibule, at the west end, which was reserved for penitents and unbaptized believers, and an apse of either semicircular or rectangular design, located at the east end and reserved for the clergy. During a later period, a transept was added to the basilican plan in the form of a wing aligned perpendicular to the nave on a north-south axis and projecting from the boundaries of the nave to form the cruciform, or Latin cross, plan. Auxiliary altars, dedicated to particular saints, were often erected at each end of the transept. Some medieval English cathedrals have a second, smaller transept to the east of the main transept. In Constantinople, Anatolia, and Eastern Europe, where the Orthodox Church flourished, a plan known as the Greek cross dominated ecclesiastical building. In contrast to the long, timber-roofed nave crossed at one end by a shorter transept. Eastern churches had four wings of equal size projecting from a central, square, domed crossing area. A notable example is Hagia Sophia in Constantinople. The elaboration of Western Christian services was paralleled toward the end of the 11th century by increasing complexity in the basilican plan. Choir space was defined, usually east of the transept, but occasionally in the nave proper, as in Westminster Abbey. Whereas in early basilican churches the clergy had been seated in the apse, they now occupied an area called the presbytery. He termed chancel, originally referring to the area directly behind the cancelli, or rails, separating nave from apse, now included that part of the church occupied by altars, officiating clergy, and singers. The term choir is sometimes used interchangeably with chancel for this area. In France, the eastern end of the church was elaborated into a structure known as a chevet, which is fully developed in many 12th century Romanesque churches, e.g., Notre Dame du Port in Clermont-Ferrand. The term applies equally to an eastern termination, consisting of multiple apses, or to a single apse surrounded by an ambulatory and radiating chapels. It was designed to place as many subsidiary altars as possible close to the high altar. The radiating chapels were usually uneven in number, with the central one dedicated to the Virgin Mary and known as the Lady Chapel, a feature of both French and English cathedrals.